Has. So the position we're in, we could have gotten to in a number of different ways. But obviously one of the reasons for showing in this segment is thinking about what happens when we miss a baseball throw or any other hip throw. He's on my back. He may be locking at the waist. You know, I'm in a position here where I'm vulnerable to be taken down. I'm vulnerable to be struck to the back of the head. Now, he would have to release his grip for that, which would allow me to get away. But again, one heavy strike to the back of the head, I might not be getting away too far. I don't want to stay here. Okay? I need to think about where's my next move need to be. And frankly, I need to be able to do it without thinking. So, the first thing I want to do, I don't want to be head on with my opponent. And in this case, just meaning I don't want to have my hips facing exactly the same as his hips. I'm going to want to turn. In this situation, I'm going to turn to the right. And at the same time, I'm going to start controlling this elbow and bringing my hand down here to try and control his wrist. Now, my turn may not break his grip. It just depends on how long his arms are. Well, by elongating my body, it's going to weaken his grip. So even if he has a lot of compression on me now, this is going to help me try and alleviate that. So to do that, I'm going to drop my hips. This makes it harder for him to try and elevate and throw me backwards. He still has a chance to block my ankle and drop me backwards, or to even like kick at my knee, pull me backwards. So I'm going to cut that angle to eliminate those things. I'm going to hook at the elbow and do this. So now I'm basically at a 90-degree angle, my hip to his hip. Okay? At the same time, what I've done is gotten a grip on his wrist here, but I want to grip hard and I want to start to twist. That's going to help in not only in setting up a submission here, it's going to make it harder for him to keep a good grip. Okay? I'm weakening the grip he has in my body to allow me to execute my next maneuver. A couple things are available to me here. One would be a switch. I'll show that briefly, and familiar with a wrestling background. You know, basically the switch is exactly what it sounds like, switching positions. And just kind of at a 10% speed, I'm going to bring my elbow in towards him, come underneath his leg, and switch positions. That's available whether we're on the ground. It's a common amateur wrestling move from there. But in this situation, when our legs are this close together and I've cut that angle with my hip, the switch is right there. And it gives me good control over his elbow. But the move I want to show from here is actually going to be, rather than switching from this position, I'm going to be applying a double wrist lock. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply the double wrist lock standing here on the forearm, creating some pressure. I'm not going to do it too hard right now in this demo situation. What I want to do is get a good firm grip to throw with. Now the movement throwing here, again, is a power throw. The back step is very, very similar. I've got this grip from an angle to my opponent. He's kind of almost loaded up on my hip for me. I'm going to step back and dump him down this way. And then the double wrist lock finish from here is very tight. Jeff, bring me the dummy. I'll do a couple on there first. Thanks, Jeff. And again, the arms aren't quite as long here, but just to be able to hit a couple at a real full speed of impact. I'll turn a little bit this way. So what I'm going to do, a good firm, tight grip, got a good twist. And again, in a real life situation here, applying pressure to break his forearm if necessary. But what that's also doing is freeing his grip and allowing me to execute this throw. Now from where we end up on this throw, and I'll show that with Constant in a second, the finish is almost instantaneous with the double wrist lock. So we're here, my hips into him, I cut the corner, I've broken his grip around my waist, I've got this grip here, I'm going to back step with this foot, drive everything down hard towards the mat, like this. Same thing, my hips are up, hopefully you can see that space. I'm not down here, because what happens if I'm down here? I'm in trouble, he's wide open. Costa, let's come in and show the finish on it. So we'll do one throw just to the position, and then we'll finish from there. So again, we're in this position. I get my angle, start to position myself. I get it locked up here, nice and tight. I need this. I can't be slipping. Obviously, we've talked about it. Tony has several times. For a throwing position, the same thing. I can't have a thumbless grip. Now, he has to come with me on this throw. It can't be like this. He has to come with me. So I've got it tight, and the throw is going to look just like this. Slide back in the middle just a little bit. So what happens here? I throw him. I need to land on his shoulder, because to execute a double wrist lock, we need to apply pressure, and we need to control the joints. In this case, we're going to be attacking the shoulder. So I've executed the throw. I'm going to have to put my weight in a little bit here. So I'm up here, I'm on his shoulder here. This is a very tight position. All my weight is pinning this down. So when I start to apply pressure, there's nowhere for a shoulder to go. So from the throw, I land in that position instantaneously. It's next to no movement at all. Simply because everything on him is compressed down, tight to the mat. Now, what happens if I hit my throw and I'm loose? I'm not above his elbow, I'm slid out here. Nothing good happens from there. I'm giving up my back. And I've seen people miss this throw. I actually kind of came up with this throw almost by accident. I had a chance to wrestle with one of the University of Michigan heavyweight wrestlers who, I hate to admit, is a little younger and a little bit faster than I am on my feet. And I hit the baseball throwing him once, and then he ducked on the next one. And just ended up naturally going to that position, cutting my angle to him, hitting this double wrist lock throw. And I didn't even attempt to really torque that, because when you land here, it's just like you naturally bringing your weight up is the submission. You know, I mean, my hips are down now, but as soon as I land, I'm up. I mean, it's next to no movement at all. It's so tight and it's so much pressure on the shoulder. So that's what I like to call the double wrist lock throw.